Hello, I'm Lady Calamere, and I am doing my 223rd presentation. And it will be on the Titaness Rhea. Who is she? She is the Greek Titaness. She's also called a goddess, but she is a Titaness. And she is the daughter of Uranus, sometimes called Uranus, or Uranus, and Gaia. Also, we call her Gaia here, but I will pronounce them more in the Greek name of Uranus and Gaia. She is the youngest daughter of the Titan, and she was married to her brother, who also became her husband, and she had several children and I'll pronounce them Zeus, which is also Zeus in Greek, Demeter in Greek, Hades, which is Hades in Greece, or Ice. Sometimes he's called her Ace. Poseidon, or Poseidonos. Hestia is Dia, and Hera. And if you look in my presentation on Kronos about how he overthrew his father, who was tyrannical, he was also given a prophecy that just like he overthrew his father, one will overthrow him and take his office. So we look at what the pain that was done to Rhea by swallowing her children. So Rhea, Rhea, her name means flowing. And one can look as the flowing of menstrual blood, the flowing of breast milk, the flowing of time of the universe, the flowing of the embryonic fluid, when the water breaks, the flow of birth. But also means ease, as in the easing of birth. When Leto gave birth to Artemis and Apollo, Elethea, the goddess of childbirth, was not allowed by the orders of Hera, and so Leto was in a lot of pain, and it was Rhea who came to her relief to help her give birth and to ease the pain. So Rhea is also, her planetary powers have been associated with the moon, but she also deals with the earth. She also has some of the powers that Gaia has and some of the powers that Demeter has, and she deals with the growth of the earth, the fertility of the earth, of the land. The pain that she suffers is something that no mother should suffer. And the children she did have, that she was able, most of the stories will say it was only Zeus that was safe from being swallowed. But I believe it's Poseidon, what's his name? Pausanias, that said that 2 children were safe from being swallowed. One was Poseidon, Poseidonos, and Zeus. For each child she gave birth, Kronos demanded, because of the prophecy, that each child was to give to him and be swallowed, and she had to watch her children being devoured, being cannibalized by Kronos. And him being the king of Olympus before Zeus, which he took over his father of Uranus, he was the almighty king. He was the supreme being, the supreme male, and she was his queen. So she had to, each time she gave birth, when she gave labor, she had to hand over each child. Now, the most popular story is Save Zeus. Zeus. I like to more say the Greek word. The child, which, with the help of her mother, Rhea, gave him a rock in swaddling cloth. And of course, Cronus was so eagerly and eat the child and so paranoid of the prophecy that he didn't even notice it was a rock. He just swallowed it. Now, Pausanias, other stories was 2 children were not swallowed. One, of course, Zeus. The other one was Poseidon, Poseidonos. And she told him, well, the child I gave birth is no threat to you. And he said, why? It's only a horse. I gave birth to a foal. And he demanded to swallow the child, so she gave him a foal. She took Poseidonos and left him with a herd of sheep, the lambs, and he was raised there. She wasn't allowed to be around her children, because if she knew she was around her children, it would give her off as a traitor, in which he may or may not, he would probably punish her and kill her children. So the child or children, depending on the stories and the myths in the land of where you were at in Greece, the area of Greece, she could not be around her children. And that was for their own safety. So she could not watch her children the first time they crawled, the first time they smiled. So she truly knows a mother's nightmare, worst nightmare. The child or children that she managed to save, her 2 boys, she could not be around. Very sad. She did not take an active part in the diplomacy, but she clearly chose her side of her children over her husband. If she didn't, she would have readily hand over Zeus, and that would be it. So once her children takes over, and Zeus takes the throne of her father and throws him into Tartarus, she is removed from her throne, but she's not punished. She is not thrown into Tartarus, but she more like retires. And of course Hera, because the H is not pronounced in Greek, takes over. Rhea is called Great Mother. She is truly a mother. She also is like Aletheia. She can be known to help one give birth and help with the labor pains. For like I said, she helped Leto give birth to Apollo and Artemis. Apollonos and Artemis. She is also called identified with Kibble or Sybil, depending. It's Kibble, Kibili, Sibili, as she's pronounced different ways, but they are so close that they have been, one has been identified as the other. So sometimes there seems to be almost like no difference with the way they blend with each other. I'm not going to exactly say they're the same thing, but they have been compared. You know how the Romans and Greeks were, so you know, they have been synchronized with each other so well. Kibble, she, like Rhea, she is a very matronly woman. And Kibble is an Anatolian goddess. She, Rhea, teaches people to receive the abundance of the land. She teaches about spirituality. She is the not only is she the fertility of the land, she is the fertile goddess. She is the Holy Mother. She is the one to call upon when you need to protect your child. She knows the loss of children. So if you have lost your child to whatever means, she is the one that you can find comfort in calling. She's very sympathetic and empathetic to children and women in need. She's also very empathetic to women who are married to men who are not so great. And she is the one to call when you are in a desperate situation to protect your child, whether you're a father or a mother. So if you're going through proceedings to protect your child, she would be a good goddess to call to protect your child. So, and especially if now I've never been in this situation, but if you are a parent with having to go into protective custody or witness protection program, she's the goddess to help you. She's the titaness to help you. Her animals are, of course, the lion, which we see that her mount is a lion, or she is sometimes seen as a throne, sitting on a throne, and each lion is beside each side of her throne, or she has a chariot pulled by lions. She is also, her other creature is a snake. She has also been, another animal that has been associated with her is the swan. But it's mainly lions and snakes. Interesting is that her own son desired her, and she, in one of the stories, she chooses to not be with him, and she turns herself into a snake, and in which, of course, Zeus turns himself into a snake, and he forces himself upon her because he saw his mother as so beautiful. In Rome, the goddess that she is called is Ops, OPS. Okay, so Rhea is a goddess who is also called to ease the pain, where we get also her name, easing the pain of the pangs of childbirth. She helps the child to flow out of the womb, where again, flow. Now, the the Homeric, the lyric hymns and the Orphic hymns describe her as Mater Theon, which means mother of the gods. And did you know also interesting? So the Ionian Sea was known at one time as the Gulf of Rhea after her. So the Gulf of Rhea was at one time the name for the Ionian Sea. Her manifestation, Rhea, appears as a beautiful, matronly, powerful, regal, absolutely gorgeous, sexy woman. She also appears as a snake. Sorry, I'm a bit thirsty. Her offerings that you would give to her would be milk, wine, mead, menstrual blood, horse water. Fresh water seems to be with many of the deities. Chocolate, fruit, hearty breads, or even bread with like fruit like raisin bread or cranberry bread, honey cakes, fruit juice, especially grape juice, cereal bars, energy bars, seeds, the type that you would eat, dried fruit, berries, those are good things to associate with her. Rhea is good at hiding things. She can teach you about protecting those you love, those you care about, concealing. So if you need to do a spell to conceal, maybe your child has to take a train to school or walks several blocks to school, and you cannot, and you know your child doesn't want to be around. Maybe they're a teenager and they don't want mom or dad walking them to the school. So you could do spells to protect them and hide them, especially from predators. And yes, crime is getting worse out there in some places. And in some places, it's probably very concerning to let your kid walk a few blocks away. Or when your kid wants to go out and hang out with, kids, you want to, other kids, you want to protect your kid from bad influences, bad people, drugs, and uh, other things, unprotected sex, and, dopey things. Because, the frontal cortex of kids isn't totally developed yet. And, you know, even as teenagers, as smart as they are, sometimes they can make dopey decisions. And you want to protect them from dopey decisions. You want to protect them from other kids' dopey decisions. And all because your kid is a genius doesn't mean the people they hang out with are geniuses. So, and I mean that some people have very brilliant children, but it doesn't mean that all the children they hang out with are brilliant. So you want to ask Rhea to protect them, to guard them, or to hide them from drug dealers, pedophiles, uh, predators of all sorts, scam artists. So you want Rhea to protect them, especially with her ferocious lions. As you can see, this one's pretty ferocious. So you can ask Rhea to protect your kids. And of course, all because you call Freya to protect your kids, you need to take also an active part on with your kids. Don't just leave it all to the gods or goddesses. Rhea is a goddess that can also protect single mothers, uh, protect the other parent from, protect maybe the father from an unstable mother, or the mother from an unstable father, or the other mother, or the other father from the other father. So, especially when there are kids involved. Because Rhea is very concerned about the children. So Interesting enough, Rhea was skilled in wrestling. Very skilled. But that didn't give her the ability to overthrow Kronos. And even though she was skilled in wrestling, she did not take an active part in war. So yes, she is skilled in wrestling. When Uranus ruled, she was put into Tartarus. So she knows that place well. But she was eventually freed, and but yes, she was in prison. Her entourage and spirit allies are definitely the dactyls, and the dactyls comes to mean from fingers, and the nymphs. Please bear with me because I do not have notes nor a script. So, Rhea Rhea's trees have been associated as oak and pine, like fir trees, fruit-bearing trees. So those are the trees that have been associated with her. Rhea has also one of her musical instruments is definitely the tambourine. So tambourines are also associated with her. Other things that have been associated with her are the crown, the throne, a throne with lions on it, the um, the moon, the earth, motherhood. If you were to put her in maiden, mother crone, a maiden warrior, mother crone, sovereign queen, one could definitely associate her with motherhood. One can associate the womb with her. She is also another thing that she has is the turret crown. The symbol, CYMBAL, so that can be played for her too. So that's another instrument that's been associated with her. Also other spirit allies or the curities. Sorry, so write this down: dactyls, nymphs, curities, and the corybantes. Corybantes. She is also called the mother of mountains, or she is also called the mother of the gods, the mother of the Olympians. So mountains are also associated with her, and that's a good scenery to put on her altar, or mountains. And if you happen to live near a mountain or by a mountain, that's where you will find her. Also in hospitals, her energy will be in the labor rooms, the labor ward, and nurseries, human, animal, plant nurseries. Symbol of the womb. The phases of women, especially those who are going through postpartum depression. Please seek therapy. If you need to take medication, then take it. Postpartum depression can last for a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years. And it happens. It's hormonal. And it may not happen with the first child. It may happen with the first child. You could have one, two, the third child and have no problems. And then the fourth child, you may have postpartum depression. Don't let anyone tell you it's not natural, that it's okay. It's part of abnormal psychology, but it's happens. It's hormonal. So this is where Rhea can step in and help guide you and help you with those feelings. Women also go through changes after, I heard, after abortion. It can affect women, and miscarriages, or when she gives her child up for adoption. That's another thing. Sometimes these decisions are not as cut and dry as people think it may be. Sometimes these decision comes after hard times, or sometimes people wonder, how was my child that I gave away 10 years ago? You know, these women still wonder, and this again where Rhea comes into play, where you can call her. A woman can give up her child for adoption and ask Rhea to protect them. Maybe there's reasons. Maybe she has a dangerous boyfriend. Maybe the family is very dangerous. Maybe she's not all there. Maybe she's not ready to be a mother. Maybe she's drugs, alcohol. You don't know what's going on. So maybe this was the right decision for at that time. And the best decision. And again, this is where Rhea comes into play, where one can call her. And yes, pregnancy can be very hard in the body. I mean, a baby inside the womb, a uterus, be the size of the weight of a watermelon. I mean, the pressure on the organs, the pain of childbirth, the hormones that is released to lactate. So sometimes women have problem lactating. Again, you can ask, of course, modern medicine, but you can ask Rhea to help. Of course, mother's milk is always the best milk. And so Rhea can help you with nursing, with the flow of milk. Again, her name deals with the flow. Plato associates this Titan again with and Kronos with time, and connects them to the deities, the other Titans dealing with the world river, which is Tethys and Okeanos, or Oceanos, the Titan of the ocean, before Poseidonus takes over, and Tethys. How long have I been talking? And I also would like to add that honey is also a good, again, go back to your notes, honey is also a good offering to her, as well as honey candies and honeycombs. She likes that. So Rhea is a good goddess to call upon for fertility when you want to become pregnant. So you can do spells to become pregnant and to protect the baby in your uterus, and used to protect pregnant women. If that wasn't obvious, well, I'm making it obvious now. Rhea is a very approachable goddess. She's considered one of the great ones, and one of the good ones, and one of the kind ones. So if you're new to the deities, she's very easygoing. She is very nurturing. She's very loving. She's giving and she's very caring. She's empathetic. She's sympathetic. So yeah, so despite how she looks here with the lion, she is a very caring deity and a loving one. During the reign of Kronos and Rhea, believe it or not, was considered the golden age. So, believe it or not. So, she was a good queen. a caring queen. But as her husband ate her swallowed her children, she became very distraught. She suffered. She went through a time of pain. And she saw her husband as paranoid and power hungry. And she hated him for that. So of course, you know, through my other videos, through Kronos and Zeus, aka Zeus, when Zeus challenged Kronos, it was a 10-year war, the Titanomachy, in which Kronos, of course, was defeated. So even after Zeus took the throne, she was still revered as the Great Mother. She was still worshipped as the Great Mother. She was present at many of different events on Mount Olympus, but she did not play a direct role in these stories. She did attend the great feasts that the deities have on the Mount Olympus. She was in attendance. She was the one who welcomed back the meter and helped the meter when she came back to Olympus. So when I talk about Kibble, Sibyl, she was an Anatolian goddess, which is now modern Turkey. She became, like I said, associated with that goddess. And like I said, those two goddesses often became indistinguishable. So, what else can I talk about this goddess that I haven't talked about? Because I've been talking about for 43 minutes. Now, she's also associated with the day Saturday. Even because she deals with the earth, but she can also deal with Monday, the moon. Great time for her, the full moon. That's a great time for her. I'm not saying you can't worship her during the other uh, phases of the moon, but the full moon is a great time for her. Okay, she is the Great Mother. So, Now it says that her lions, that Atlanta and her husband, because they blasphemed in her temple, she transformed them into her lions that pull her chariot. Rhea has also found the beautiful stones and crystals and gems. She does like fashionable jewelry. We can see it right here. Of course, unfortunately, this broke after years of having it. Rhea can also be called to help with the plight of the lion. What's going on to the Florida Panthers, which is they are Florida lions and mountain lions. Well, they're not mountains in Florida. It's pretty cool here today. It's like 54 degrees here. So, and that's pretty cool for where I'm at. But the plight of lions everywhere. So she could be used to protect them. That you can also donate to charities that save the lions that are being exploited and abused and being kept as pets, and lion hybrids that are being maltreated. The lions that were left in the wild. She is a good one. So whether you got the Florida Panthers, which are lions, American lions, the mountain lions is not the same as this. But she is good to protect, let's just say, big cats like these lions. We humans are fucking things up. This is not an act of nature. This is not an act of natural selection. This is us fucking things up. So, she would be good for that. And like I said, she had 6 children from Kronos, which is Demeter, Demeter, Hera, Esthea, Hades, Zeus, and Poseidonos. And her husband is Kronos. One of the titles that she gets is the Queen of Heaven. She's also the Queen of Heaven and the Earth, the Queen of the Mountains, Mother of the Olympians, Mother of the Gods, the Great Mother. This is the back of her. Isn't she beautiful? I got this one on Amazon. Long time ago. So anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you got something out of it. If you like this presentation, please like this, and if you subscribe, it makes thank you to all my subscribers. I have 555. Thank you very much. It helps my channel grow. I do not earn a penny yet from YouTube, and I do not have a Patreon account. So the way to thank me is to please like and subscribe. I know I've been away for like 8 days, 8, 9 days, because I went to see concerts. And it was just, between traveling and everything, I got to see, in Tampa, I got to see Pantera and Lamb of God. And I also got to see some bands. It's a band called Go Ahead and Die with Max Cavalera and his son Igor Cavalera. And opening up for them was MRSA, MRSA, like the bacteria, and Body Box, which all of them are talented. And Max Cavalera is legendary, and his son, like father, like son, very extremely talented. So, and I also got to see a cover band, tribute band to Linkin Park called In the End. So I got to see them, and they were playing with a tribute band to Soundgarden, but I went to see the tribute to a Linkin Park, which, rest in power, rise and rest in power. Chester, the former singer of Linkin Park, he committed suicide. And if you feel like you're gonna commit suicide, please reach out to someone. There are numbers that you can call. There is suicide prevention. There is you can look up the number, and some places are like 211, or look up resources to see if you can see about getting help. Reach out to a friend or family member. Reach out to anybody. If you're on social media, just say, I feel like harming myself. Can I please talk to someone? Or I feel very, very depressed. Can someone, reach out to me? But, always keep a wary eye, because you never know who you're talking to if you don't know who they are. But there are people that a lot of people may generally really care. So, anyways, and if you lost a child through any means, reach out to someone. Get help. If you are going to postpartum depression, please get help. Please seek help from someone who's been through it, a therapist, a psychiatrist, maybe a life coach to help you. There are resources to help people. If you're a single mother, there are resources now to help you. If you're a mother escaping a domestic violence situation, please do not stay. Do not think you're going to change them. Okay? You need to protect yourself and your child. So get help. Do what you need to do what you need to do legally to protect yourself and your child within the legal limits. I can't advise anyone to do anything illegal. So please get help. Okay? So thank you very much. And I also want to throw out that shelters all over America, kill shelters and non-kill shelters, are over flooded with dogs, cats, rabbits. Please, at this moment, think adoption. Adopt instead of shop. Okay? There are places that are willing to give out free cats and free dogs. And there are certain times you can see which days are being sponsored that you can get a free cat. Okay? Or a free dog. There are places that are willing to waive the fee. Why it's happening? Because there were assholes during the pandemic who got a cat and dog and got bored with it when they're back to work now. Oh, they're no longer working at home. Let me get rid of this thing. It's no longer entertaining to me. There are people that, because of the rent hikes, they're homeless, or they have to move in with someone, or to a smaller, from a house to an apartment. You know, there are things that are happening right now, and animals are being surrendered left and right, or being thrown out in the street and being picked up by these rescues. And they are hurting. They are overcrowded. So please think adopt over shop, okay? Please. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. As always, blessed be.